Yes. What is your next thing on the farm that you are anticipating in regards to, okay, it's June, we got crops in the ground, other than, now your late planted corn is for something totally, I mean, you're budgeting irrigation water. Mm-hmm. That's why you're spreading it out. Talk about that just a little bit, why you spread your seasons out in regards to irrigation management.
So I plant corn. Okay, so I can't run every pivot at one time. I don't have one well, one pivot. I've got one well and 5 pivots. And I only run 2 at best at a time. And then you got to put 4 or 5 days to put a lap on or more, putting an inch, depending on what the gallons are. So I have to map that out to where they don't peak all at the same time because I can't bank on rain. I got to put it all on, even though that's not the case most time. But that's what you need to bank off of because it's safer. So put some in 1st of April, and I plant short season first because you put it in 1st of April, and the idea is to get it through peak use before your other stuff starts entering into the high use periods. So that way you can move the water from one field to the other. So peak out 4th of July on some, and then you'll peak out into July on some, and then August on others. So that way you can just keep moving the water around. Take use of the growing season that we have.
So say you've got a well, and say you've got 2 or 3 pivots on one well. You've got one that's peaking. Will you still switch it and run a little bit of water on the other corn?
Typically not, no.
Oh, really?
You'll dedicate 100% to whatever's in the high point.
Because otherwise you get too spread out and it could be a catastrophe? Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got to know when to kill it. Like there's a certain point that if you try to do them all, and it's a crappy year, you're going to lose them all. Mm. So typically I pick one and then get it through before you work on the next. Mitigates the loss.
Okay.
But then also insurance plays into that too.
Sure.
Got to make sure you don't raise yourself out of a loss in another situation.
That's fair.
If it's in the same section, same unit. Yeah. So you have really good corn on one and crappy corn on the other, and you have no loss because the good corn outraises the bad corn.
Sure.
So now you no longer have a loss. It's one of them scenarios doing better actually hurts.
In the wrong year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, where do we even start? Because it's been I did a podcast with Heathman, everything your seed dealer wished you knew. Mm-hmm. And then I did one with Tim Lorenz, one of my landlords, talking about relationships with landowners. And that, I mean, both of them were super well received. And then now we're like, well, we're here now. And it's like, okay, where do we start? Because so much, we're in that portion of the spring where so much has happened in the last 45 days, 30 days, the last 30 days. I mean, we went from nothing to everything's in the ground, spray, top dress, side dress, where we might be doing, planting beans, planting milo, planting corn, spraying, cutting alfalfa. All these guys are starting to do so many, all these jobs are cram. And now all the guys are like, everyone's running on fumes and just like, and now we have wheat harvest here in a week.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I get to this point, I like it. I don't give a damn.
I know. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah. I give a lot less damns when we get to this time of year.
That's exactly right. Well, do you think, and who was I talking to? I was talking to someone last night at a board meeting about wheat. I said, wheat is that crop that we all forget, probably during the most crucial time to be paying attention to it, because we get so busy, caught up in so many other things, corn, beans, hay, whatever it might be. In wheat, it's like, it's wheat, it'll be fine. Mm-hmm. And we don't do anything about it. Now.
Poverty grass.
There's a lot of guys this year that have told me the reason I lost focus on this, X, Y, and Z, is probably the reason this is going to do better and my stress level is down. Mm-hmm. I have heard that over and over and over in the last 3 weeks. There's a lot of guys realizing now that we're having some significant weather, some good weather returning to a lot of regions, there's a lot of guys that are like, do I make the difference that I thought I did? And guys are like, and guys are sitting here scratching their head like, man, what are the basics? What are the things I know work? What are the things that I'm not sure work? And then how do I move forward with these applications, so on and so forth? Guys are like, man, I'm seeing humic. Like humic is, guys are just really happy with the applications of humic. Even dry. Stroberg texted me last night. He just texted me right there about a guy that spread dry on a pivot, insanely salty. The guy did one test pass, I believe, of 300 pounds. I believe this is accurate. The 300 pounds I know, and he said you could literally see the guy's spread pattern in the vegetative growth of the corn.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's just, guys are like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Makes a big difference.
It does.